Did you know there are books missing from the Bible? The Bible itself mentions over 20 lost books, things like the Book of Nathan, the Acts of Solomon, or the Book of Jehu. In recent years, a number of ancient holy books have been discovered in dusty libraries in Yerevan, or in Egyptian tombs and in the caves at Qumran. Archaeologists have found things like the Book of Enoch, or the Book of Jasher, and the lost prophecies of Jeremiah. Now we can read them, and what we find is absolutely shocking, because we find that these books were being quoted by the Apostle Paul, by Jude, and even by Jesus himself. But it gets even more fascinating for Latter-day Saints, because we also find these texts being used in the Book of Mormon. Think about that. If none of these records were around in 1829, why are we finding their fingerprints all over the Book of Mormon? Let me give some examples. In the recently discovered ancient accounts of Adam and Eve, found in Armenia, the fall is portrayed not as a bad thing, but as a necessary part of God's plan, and something which Eve wisely sets in motion. This is in complete contradiction to later Christian ideas, but it aligns almost exactly with how the fall is portrayed in the Book of Mormon. Also, some people think that when Lehi says the Savior is, quote, full of grace and truth, that this was just Joseph Smith making up stuff, because John chapter 1 verse 14 also uses this exact same phrase. But recent discoveries show that John was actually drawing this specific phrase from the Book of Enoch. This means that both John and Lehi would have been able to pull from the same source. Or how about Captain Moroni? How is it that he knew specific details about Joseph of Egypt, like that his coat was trampled by his brothers, when those details are only found in the recently discovered Book of Jasher and the Slavonic Peleia? And this is only scratching the surface. So while it may be true that one or two of these could just be a remarkable coincidence, the sheer volume of these parallels demands an explanation. And that explanation is exactly what is detailed in my new book, The Key to the Keystone. In this book, you will not only see example after example of connections between the Book of Mormon and these other ancient records, but you will come to understand how and why these parallels exist. And it has a lot to do with the often misunderstood brass plates. So check out the link in the video description. I hope you enjoy it.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button so my future videos show up on your feed. Also, if you or someone that you know has benefited from the content here on Thoughtful Faith, please consider becoming a channel donor or volunteer by visiting my new website, thoughtfulfaith.org, and clicking on the Get Involved page.